Would you like to know more? Welcome to Warmaster Podcast Adventures in 3D Printing, and today we're going to be looking at what I think is probably the best flying unit in the game, although they are a little bit tricksy and you need to be a little bit gamey about them. So what makes them good? Well, if you can imagine high elf eagles, which are pretty good, they're monsters. They have 2 attacks, 3 hits, and they have 6 up armor, and they can obviously fly. These fellas have 5 up armor and they cost 80 points, so they cost about 15 points more, and they have some negatives and they have some positives. So negatives are, they're like the rest of the knights, they're a bit impetuous. They will charge if they can charge, they will pursue if they can pursue, they'll follow on, they'll just, basically you shoot them, if you lose control of them, they're never coming back because they just keep fighting and fighting and fighting until they're dead. They've killed a lot of stuff hopefully on the way down, but once they go, they go. You can mitigate that in a very cheesemongery fashion by moving them forwards while facing backwards, as long as they're out of range. So you kind of mitigate the fact they can't see, so they won't charge on initiative because they can't see anything because they're facing backwards. And you can also do other stuff with them, like get almost 360 line of sight by facing 2 forwards and 1 backwards and stuff. So there's a lot of tricksiness around Grail Knights, but what they are is they're hard-hitting flyers, or as hard-hitting as it gets, and they have reasonable armor. 5 up armor is better than most, and they can't be affected by terror. So they're a good unit, and they counter break. So you're going to have some stuff counter break in Bretonnian, and I find 2 units of this is where I am at generally. As I said in my last video, I'm leaving the supports on now rather than spending my whole time moaning about supports and cleaning them, and I should have cleaned this one off. So you can actually see the support structure as it is given to us by Forest Dragon, and it's very well supported. There's been no failures at all. It's just 20-second base layers, 6 of them, 2-second regular layers using ABS-like, and a photon mono, and it was just push and print and play. I mean, this is the dream. If you get stuff from Thingiverse and you have to design your own supports, you learn to appreciate a well-supported model. They're also built. They got a built-in flying stand, and you can, once you've got rid of your supports, you can trim the base up, and it's kind of like ready to go. It's good. It's like a one-piece miniature, which is an amazing bit of kit. So this one's got a grail on him, and he's also got a grail on his head. They're all carrying lances, and he's a very, very fine-looking miniature. I like this one a lot. So well done. That is a great-looking miniature. So we've got another 2 who look pretty similar to him, just have slightly different variants on. This has got some kind of block in quarters, and they've got like a crescent moon. He's got a crescent moon on his head. So it's a very cool motif. That's historically from the kind of your kind of conflicty areas. We from the place that's been fought over for the last 2,000 years. So it's another fine-looking miniature. I mean, I know that Forest Dragon's now moving to a different model. I'm sure that's because he wants to protect the quality of output, and maybe allow himself a little bit more latitude to slow down the kind of release schedule. So absolutely fair play to them. I mean, you can't really argue at the output, and if that means waiting a little bit longer to get stuff, then so be it. So be it. So I don't know if I've talked about on this channel that they are moving off Patreon. So I think you've got to the end of May to jump in and get the May stuff, which I haven't printed yet. I'm going to print that later in the week and do some videos on that later this week. And then I'm kind of up to date with Forest Dragon stuff. But then I have some new stuff to print, which I'll not talk about today, but I will get out and print next week. So we've got a unicorn motif here. This is cured. So people say, well, how are you going to get these supports off? Apparently, in the same way as getting the miniatures off the print bed, if you use some warm water to kind of heat up the miniature, everything moves a little bit freer. So I've been assured that getting these supports off won't be that much of an issue with a bit of hot water. So I've decided to leave the supports on so you can see the support structure. Okay, and then we have two more characters. We have an Enchantress on a Pegasus. Now, a Pegasus, I think, should probably be 20 points in the game, because a Great Eagle, I'm pretty sure, for the High Elves is 20 points. And a Pegasus is 15, but it is exactly the same. Flying and +1 attack. So maybe you got a little bit of a cheap little bonus there, but it's only 5 points at the end of the day. It's not game breaking in a 2,000 point game. As for this Enchantress, I'm not sure I will be taking them on the Pegasus, as lovely as a model this is. Very dynamic model. It's got two good points of contact onto this scenic base, so that's good. You wouldn't want all this overhang going through a single point. These are nice big fat contacts because the whole of the hoof is down, so that's excellent. I'll probably be running my Enchantresses on unicorns, because you get +1 attack, you get +1 to a spell once per game, and it's the same points, 15 points, and the lack of flying isn't a big deal for a non-combat character. Okay, and then finally we have a hero on a Pegasus Knight. Sorry, a hero on a Pegasus. You'll definitely be taking these if you've got any heroes, because I can't bring myself to take the general on the Griffin, because if you've got a fighty general, he's going to fight, and if he gets caught in a unit and killed, then you lose the game. So it's a bit of a trap, as General Akbar would say. It's a trap. So get yourself some heroes, give them a nice sword, and you get 3 attacks with flying for an extra, well, you get a discount, don't you? It'll be 10 points for the sword, 15 for the Pegasus, and then your hero. So 80, 90, 105 points for 3 attacks and flying. That's nothing to sniff at. Yeah, so good stuff, good stuff. I do enjoy these miniatures a lot. I think he's done a tremendous job in getting these up and ready. So next up will be the May releases, and then my next project, which I won't spoil until the end of the next set of videos. So thanks a lot for this, and I'll see you next time.